Hey, TGI community, it's Natasha here, founder and CEO of Travel Goddess International, and I am so excited to come to you today with tricks to travel, how you can travel for practically free, featuring my favorite, Ronnie Dunston.
What's up, everyone? I'm glad to be here. Let's get started. I'm all about the tricks of travel. You know how I do.
All right, well, we'll jump right into it. So my first question to you, Ronnie, is why Road to 100 Countries? Tell the people exactly what that logo is on your shirt, and some inspiring things that kind of got you started.
Let me see. So first of all, I grew up a military brat, so I used to travel. We lived in Germany, Texas, Seattle. Been all over the nation and just a few countries, outside of the U.S. So it kind of just that travel bug was in me, and it wasn't until I was like an adult. I would say after college, because in college everybody's going to Mexico, everybody's doing the spring break thing. But I started traveling. My wife and I 7 years ago now, because it's 2020. So yeah, we're looking at 2013. 2013. My wife and I have been to maybe about 13 countries total. It was more of the Caribbean, the ones that are countries. And she just was, she was like, you ever thought about going outside of the Caribbean? I was like, yeah, for sure. So we started looking into things, and I was like, I looked it up. The UN is 195 countries, and I just thought like, yo, we should see at least half of the world. You know what I mean? So I was like, let's just go 0 to 100 real quick. And that it stuck with me, that whole concept. And of course, when Drake's song, it came out later, but when Drake's song came out, that was like my theme song. So 0 to 100, I was just like, let's see at least 50% of the world. Let's see half of the world. I work for the government, so there's some countries I'm just not going to make it to. That's why some people may ask me, well, why didn't you just do all 195? I work for the government. I'm not going to North Korea. So there's
Sure.
certain places I'm just not going to be able to hit right now anyhow. So I wanted to see at least half the world, and at the time it seemed like we jokingly say a pipe dream. I didn't think I would be able to reach it so quickly, working a full-time job and things of that nature, and it just went from there. So 0 to 100 real quick. Just wanted to do the road to 100 countries. I just came up with the whole slogan. I don't know. I just said to myself, let's go to 100. Our road to 100, and it's technically it's flight to 100, but you know what I mean. But the
yeah.
whole road, just the concept in general.
Well, I mean, depending on if you're in California, you could technically drive to Mexico.
Yeah, I mean that's one country though. You're not driving 99 more.
It's a good point. It's a good point. My favorite thing about what you said is that it was your wife who asked you, have you ever thought about venturing out? And I always say, behind every great man is a great woman, and I promote that wholeheartedly.
I'm going to agree with you. I'm gonna tell you why. Most dudes, when we travel, I know not to put us out there, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
We're traveling for women. We want to go to like places like Brazil. We want to go to DR, places where they're not even. I'm not saying every guy's like this, but most of us are. We're not always looking for the culture and the experience at the beginning. Of course, we eventually move in it. And usually, I always tell people, it's always a female that brings us to that side. Usually. Not saying every guy, because I'm one guy like, well, I travel for culture too. Like, I'm just saying in general, we usually, we're going for women or something other than the culture itself. Put it that
way. I appreciate you keeping it real for the people and knowing where we stand. That's always helpful. So thank you. So my second question for you is, so what happened once you guys reached your 100th country? Like, what was that?
So what was crazy was, honestly, so we started 2013. So we were 13 countries in together, right? And everything, and that was the other thing. The whole goal was we had to do it together. So there was countries that I had been to that she had been to and vice versa, that we repeated together because we wanted this whole thing to be all road to 100 countries together. So it's not she has 50 and I have 50. We have visited 100 countries together. Technically, my wife has been to 101. She went to Sierra Leone for work, and I didn't. didn't have an opportunity to fly out there because of the whole Ebola pandemic. She's a research scientist. So she was there for work. If it was an Ebola situation, I probably would have went too. And then, you know, we would both be at 101. So I told her she can't use that 101. So, well, 109 technically. We've been on 108 together now. So when we got closer to it, about 75 countries in, I realized, like, we can do this. Like, we're almost here. We completed 100 countries in 5 years. Like, well, 87 to be precise, because, you know, we were already 13 in. In 2013 is when we decided to not repeat countries anymore. So we stopped repeating countries, and that was the key, to stop repeating. And there's a lot of countries that, you know, we want to see or we'll go back to. Once we stopped repeating countries, it took us 5 years. We completed our 100th country was Mauritius, which was September, my birthday, September 2018 is when we hit our 100th country. Once we went past it, actually it was about 75 is when I realized I need to make this about making a movement and not just a personal thing. So, because we were close, I was like, what's next? And people kept asking us, like, the fact that we're traveling, working full-time jobs, they were like, how are you doing this? And people just kept asking us questions, and I was teaching people one-on-one and showing them. And for me, I wasted money in the first year or two. We wasted lots of money the first year or two, not learning how to work the system or the points and miles system. Once I got the hang of it, and I was reading up on things, but no one told you how to hustle. And that's when I realized, like, you know what? It's a bigger opportunity, however, for people to travel and they don't even know. And this is just on their everyday spending. And that's what occurred. After we hit our 100 country, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make this a movement. I want to show other people that they can travel to 100 countries or whatever, however many countries they want to as well. Whatever bucket list they have, they can achieve it, and at a very fractional of the cost. So for us, it was all about teaching. That was what was next for us. It's about teaching other people how to do it too.
Well, I can definitely say I feel like I started following the journey somewhere in the late 70s, early 80s of your countries. Yeah. So I remember just like once you guys got into the 90s, rooting every country, like, let's go. It's so close. So you guys really did an amazing job of making it such a community atmosphere where we were rooting for you, and to do the 100th country in Mauritius for your birthday. It was just like, as a follower and a lover of all things travel and a supporter of Road to 100 Countries, I was ecstatic to see it. So once you guys started to have additional options and did the Tricks to Travel training platform, I really could see that vision. And so it's amazing, and I'm excited to share more with our community later on in the interview. But I want to switch gears because as both you and I are travel enthusiasts and lovers of all things travel, the present times have really kind of shifted our, I would say, normal day to day. So really, let's talk about the elephant in the room right now. This pandemic has really put a pause on everyone's lives. So I want to ask you, how do you think it will affect the future of travel? And also, how are you using this time to pivot yourself and kind of grow from this experience?
So honestly, I think that it definitely affected travel, because you have a lot of people scared. They don't want to go outside. You have people that don't leave their homes right now. Everything is online. And then you have some people that's like, well, I'm young and, I can travel. There are people still traveling now, but the thing is, the borders are not open. You have an unfortunate, the U.S. didn't handle the situation as good as other countries have. We have people like the EU right now talking about banning Americans until we get our stuff together, pretty much. So I think travel has been affected tremendously. You have, businesses are going under, airplanes, people are selling, cruise lines are selling some of their ships. All sorts of things are going on. I think it's going to definitely change. I think what can come from this, the good that can come from this is, one, people are going to be much cleaner. People will start wiping down things. My wife and I have been wiping down our plane, our seat in our plane for years. So now seeing people do it, I'm looking like, we've been doing that. So, but the fact that people are starting to like, look, man, it's not just COVID-19. There's other diseases out there, other viruses out there that you can catch that I'm like, just the flu alone. But I think people will be much cleaner. People will be more, also people will not take travel for granted. So many people are like, oh, I'll travel when I get a little older, or when I retire, or when my kids grow up, or whatever the case may be. Time is now. You never know when it could be taken away from you. Our last time we've been out the country was my birthday. Our 108th country, Cyprus. Last September was the last time I went outside this country. Listen to me. I travel almost every month. People are like, oh, you're not affected. I'm affected. because I'm used to traveling. So it has affected me tremendously. Now I've taken the lemons and turned it into lemonade. But for me personally, what we're doing is we're focusing on banking our points and miles. A lot of times people think that you have to travel to gain a lot of points and miles, and you don't. My goal right now is to hit 4 million Hilton points. I'm at 3.7 million right now. My other goal is to hit 250,000 miles on each in United, American, and Delta. I'm at like 150, 100, and another 100, and I'm going to get there. That's my goal for the rest of this year. We're not traveling. We have a little one now, and that's one thing that's changed for us is now we have I have a daughter. She's 6 months now. So we're just not going to go out there right now with this whole COVID-19 situation. So it has affected people tremendously. I think, once the vaccine comes about, a working vaccine, not all the trials, I think that, things will get back to normal, but it's going to take some time, take at least another year or two.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I mean, I definitely am one of those people that are trying to find different ways to still travel and be cautious, but also, like you said, like it's affecting me. I was also a once a month traveler, and experiences really, like, they speak to my soul. So to kind of be on a standstill and having to stay home, I had to really adapt. And obviously out of that, I developed this cool new platform, the Travel Goddess International Community, and all the fun things. So it's great to hear people that are using the time wisely. But you really touched on a great point, which is a perfect segue into our next question, when you discussed your goals for your points and your miles and how you want to really focus on racking those up to use them later for travel. So that is definitely one thing that I love about you. You've taught me, and I'm excited for you to share it with our community. So without further ado, we're going to jump into our topic for the day, which is 5 tips travelers should know to start earning free flights and hotels using points and miles.
5 tips. So the number 1 tip, you should never use cash or a debit card. This is my number 1 tip I tell people, and here's why. When you pay for an item, you receive the service or an item or the service. You receive it back, you pay your cash, and that's it. You get what they get, whatever service they're providing or whatever item they're giving you. That's it. Nothing else. If you have a travel card, however, so for example, my Hilton card, now when I pay for that service or that item, I receive the item and the service, and I receive points. It's not hindering me. And a lot of times people get credit cards and they think it's like free money. You can't think like that. You have to use the card make it like a debit card. So I use the card, and then I go on the app and I pay it right off like a debit card. Now I'm getting 2 for 1. I'm getting the service, and I'm also getting points, which is going to help me towards free travel. So the number 1 thing I tell people to stop using cash and cash and debit cards. Get you a travel card. Get you something that's going to benefit you. Number 2, airline credit cards. Airline credit cards are great for the bonuses. A lot of people think that because they'll get the bonus and they'll think that, oh, now I'll just spend on it all the time and I could get these free flights. That's not very true. It's not completely true. Here's what goes on. Most airline cards give you 1 to now 2 miles per dollar. To travel anywhere in the U.S., well, they're on the big 3 carriers, which is Delta, United, and American. It takes about 80,000 miles to fly anywhere you want, right? 1 round trip ticket. If you only earn 1 to 2 miles per dollar, look how much money you have to spend to get a free flight. And that's where I debunk that myth. I'm like, that's not how you earn the most miles. It's about flying and other things. And I have it in my course. It's 7 top ways to earn it. So I just try to tell people, don't think when you get the bonuses on the airline card that's going to immediately how you're going to travel for free. That's not how it works. I also would suggest my third thing, which segues into it, is for me, I use my airline miles only for expensive locations because airline miles are scarce. So for me, like Fiji, that's normally a $2,000 ticket, then I'm going to use my miles for it. I don't wait. Now, this is me. Some people are domestic travelers. I don't use my miles for anything domestic, and I don't use my miles for anything that I can pay for that's under $600. We'll say $650 is what I usually go per person. So anything above $650, I try to use my miles. So I just, the tip would be to think outside the box when you're going to use your miles and look for places that are further away, that cost you the most money. That goes into 3. The number 4 tip I would say with the tricks to travel, just in general, is I would say have a game plan, have a goal. A lot of people, they will, so for example, even me, I've been doing this for years now, and I still, every time, I'll say, you know what, I want to go to the Maldives. So if I want to go to the Maldives, I will look up how many points it's going to take me to get there, to stay there, and then how many miles it's going to take, and then I make that game plan. I do it for every single trip. It doesn't matter how expert, novice, intermediate level I am. I always do the same thing. Always have a game plan. Don't just think I'm gonna get all these points and miles and I could just fly and do whatever I want. That's not how it works if you don't even know how much it costs to get there. So have a game plan, before you get started, and know that it's not gonna happen overnight. The Tricks to Travel is a course. It's not a gimmick. I literally show you step by step how to do it, but you have to follow it. Follow the rules. And the 5th and final thing I would say is don't think that your bucket list is unattainable. A lot of people create bucket lists and they think that it's unattainable. These places are easy to get to. I'm telling you right now, I've been to places. My whole goal now is to go to the most exotic places that when people go, not exact, we'll say some people who put high on their list, like the Maldives, Fiji, Tahiti, Seychelles, South Africa. Places that people want to go, Bora Bora, places that people want to go for the honeymoon or the wish list, I'm hitting them. I'm knocking them all off because I want to show you that it's easy to get there. I went to the Maldives for not $0 for the taxes. Let me rephrase that. That's why I always talk about essentially free. So we flew to the Maldives and stayed in the Maldives for $200 each. That was for the taxes. Of course, I spent money when I was there, but to get there and to stay there, it was only $200. And that's what I try to show people. So just remember that whatever travel bucket list that you have, first of all, it's a bucket list. It should be meant to be checked off, not a wish list. So if you have a bucket list, let's check it off. Always think that nowhere is unattainable. If people are there, you can get there too. That'd be my last 5th tip, I'll say, just in general.
I feel like you need to put that on a t-shirt, the bucket list versus a wish list, because that was genius. I've never heard that, but I was like, yes.
People always do, they go bucket list. I'm like, is that your wish list or is that a bucket list? Because a bucket list, you're supposed to check it off.
I love that logic. That is 100% true. Is a matter of ask yourself, is this a wish list or a bucket list? If it's a bucket list, let's get it done. The same way you would if you were starting a business or working towards a degree. This is what you need to do. In addition to that, here are the steps that you're providing to do it, to make it go from a wish list to a bucket list that you can actually complete. So that's amazing. If you don't mind, tell the people how they can get more information on these Tricks to Travel and what maybe a little offer that you have for them.
Okay, so right now, the easiest way to get to anything that we do, social media, whether it be subscribing to our YouTube channel or Facebook group or our Instagram page, is just go to road to100countries.com. Simple. Everything is there, is at the top left, all the tabs are there. The Tricks to Travel course itself, when you go to road to100countries.com, first of all, it's going to be a pop-up that comes up and says, hey, you want to learn how to travel for free? You can either click that, or at the very top, it says Tricks to Travel. There's a tab of its own. So that's the easiest way to get to our course. It's the easiest way to get to anything that we do. On our page also, we have not just We have video and an explanation like what we did in each country. We have a video, a summary video, and pictures of every single country we've been to. When you go to our website, on the left-hand side, you'll see a list of countries. People just think it's just a list. Each one of those are hyperlinks. You can click any country and it'll show you, us there. Tricks to travel right now, what I'm offering, especially for your followers and everyone, is that I'm offering now until July 19th. I made it so cheap. Originally, my Tricks to Travel course was $50, which was, I felt it was pretty cheap because it was $49.99 and we had, I have over 50 videos. I was like $1 video. But for everyone, I'm offering 80% off. I'm offering it for $10. $10 until July 19th. You can sign up for the course. The reason why I'm offering it so cheap, because I want you to see that it's not a gimmick. I want you to sign up. The other thing that we're offering that's in addition that we just created is now we have a Tricks to Travel follow-up forum. You don't just take the course, because you take the course and yeah, you'll learn a lot actually, but always people have questions. So now we have a Tricks to Travel group as an exclusive group. You can only gain access if you've taken the course. So when you take the course, your welcome letter, you'll get an email with an access link. Once you join our group, you'll see I post other additional tips, tricks. I show people how to get free room upgrades, how to get free flight upgrades. I also I posted a letter in there where I show people how to get a free room upgrade before you even arrive. I sent a letter to hotels prior to me arriving. All of that is in our follow-up form because I want it to be a lifestyle, not just a course that you take. I want you to change your mindset in a lifestyle. So right now the group is expanding. People are taking advantage of it. It is also an opportunity for you to ask any questions, any follow-up questions that you have, any suggestions that you have. Other people in the group, you'll meet other course takers that can help you, that have been through it or they've done it as well, or I've helped them one-on-one. It's a whole lifestyle I'm creating for people. This is not a gimmick. I want to show you, my goal is for everybody to say, you know what? I learned how to travel the world from road to 100 countries, Tricks to Travel. That's my goal. So my goal for the year is for the rest of this year to the end of the year, is I want to help 10,000 people at minimum.
Well, what many people may not know is I got started with my journey to country hopping, if you will, because of Ronnie Dunston. So what he has to say, what he has to teach you is the real deal. I too get the question all the time, how do you travel every month? How are you going so many places? And I'm here to tell you, several years back, I want to say it was maybe 2016, Ronnie. We met and we hit it off, and he gave me these Tricks to Travel before they were officially the Tricks to Travel, and they are legit. This is literally how I've been able to do it, and from here also grow my business and my brand. So definitely take advantage of this offer. $10 is out of control. Like
I'm like, $10? Come on, man. I tell people all the time. Because it's not about the money. And then someone asked me, I actually posted about this, well, why don't you just make it free? Number one, I'm not a blogger. I'm not a vlogger. I don't get paid by companies. So I'm not pushing any, and that's another thing about the course. I don't push any particular card. I just tell you what I do. And I show you how to work the cards. So what I teach you in the course, you can actually apply it to any travel card. It's not about the cards that I tell you to get. Of course, I have my preference like Hilton and Delta, but I have United, I have Marriott, and so forth. The other thing is I created the course. I took my time to create 50 plus videos that are how-to videos, and I made them because I'm a trainer, I'm a professor as well. The average person, they don't listen to anything that's more than 10 to 15 minutes. So all my videos are 15, actually about 12 minutes or less. And it's so that you can focus, and it's on each different area. I took my time to create it. Don't devalue the information I'm giving you by telling me just to give it to you for free. The fact that it's only $10 should take a look. This is nothing for all the thousands of dollars I'm going to save you in the countries that you're going to visit. It's all about, I want the acknowledgement is what I'm actually shooting for, just to show that, like you said, like even you, I remember when you asked me, because I didn't have a course then. I created the course because I was helping people. I can only help but so many people. I have, you know, a daughter, I got life. People were asking me questions all the time. I was like, you know what, if I just make a course, everybody can benefit from it, and not just, you know, me conversing with somebody one-on-one.
Yeah. And like I said, it's been a tremendous help. My road to 100 countries is well underway, and I'm continuing to add, and I'm looking forward to doing so. So thank you so much for creating this, for sharing it, for providing a platform and resources for individuals to really, like you said, check off those items on their bucket list. It's a beautiful thing, and I really want the TGI community members to take advantage of this offer. Like, you will not be upset for spending your $10. It's worth it. It is worth it. So my last question, and my favorite question that I love to ask before we get out of here, share with the people, what's the craziest vacation story? It has to be entertaining, and don't be too graphic.
Don't be too graphic. I just took out a few. Let me think. I think, you know what? I say the story that I remember the most. I have a lot of stories. So prior to my wife becoming my wife, it was 2014 when I proposed. No, 2013 when I proposed to my wife. Right? I proposed in Venice. So we went to Venice, Italy, and I wanted. It's funny because I have a smart card now, but we rented a smart car for the very first time, and I was like, "Oh, the smart car is cool." It's a little bigger than you think. It was able to fit our luggage, a little tight somewhat, but it wasn't tight for us, just the luggage in the back. So anyhow, we went to go fill up I went to go fill up the tank of the car, right? And I'm in Italy. I don't know a lick of Italian. And I saw gasolina. So anybody who's Italian knows that gasolina means diesel. Well, for me, it did not. So my wife was like, I don't think that's gas. I was like, what? It's gasolina. What you mean? I'm thinking like Spanish, like gasolina, gas. It's gas. So I go to put the gas or the diesel in at this time, right? So here's the funny part. So I go to put the hose in, and the hose is bigger than the hole to the smart car. Now, stupid dummy right here. This is a dumb moment. I'm thinking like, oh, maybe because it's a smart car, it's smaller. That's why the hose don't fit. So rather than me trying to see if another hose fits, I put the hose and like line it up and just pour it in. We start to drive. Now, no, let me tell you where we're driving to. This is the other part. We're driving from Rome to Venice.
Oh my God.
That's about it's about a 3-hour drive. So, you know, you drive to Venice and you take the train into the main part.
Yes.
It's at least 3 hours from Rome. 3 to 3, 4. It took us 5. And here's the thing. I'm driving it. I was like, oh, shit. At that very moment, I already knew that I effed up. When I heard the engine, because I'm doing cars, but clearly not that much, right? I was like, oh man, I done put diesel in this car.
Oh my God.
T-Mobile wasn't big. I couldn't call my dad, so I'm getting charged. I'm like, Dad, what should I do? He's like, look, don't let it run out. Just keep putting gas on top, like real gas, on top of it. So we did make it to Venice. I was gonna propose the day before. No, I was gonna propose on my wife's birthday, and I ended up proposing the next day. She didn't know, but the next day on the day after her birthday, and it was in Venice in San Marco Square. Coming back, I was like, Lord, please don't die. We left in the evening. It took us like 6 or 7 hours to get home because of the diesel. Imagine driving at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Cars zooming by you. You in this little smart car. Your cell phone don't work. you don't, or it does, but it'll cost you an arm and a leg to make a call. No one really speaks English now. Late night. I'm like, listen. It was a scary moment, but it was crazy. The next morning we were taking a cruise out of Rome, so it was a 2-part vacation. The next morning on our way to the cruise, the car died on me going up onto the highway, right? We were taking a ramp to go on the highway and it just completely died. Engine seized up and everything. I had to call the airport. We had a ride. We were supposed to drop off the car, pick up a ride, and they were going to take us. We had a taxi service. They take a car service to take us to the port. By the lick, I'm telling you right now, the people, they were able to understand me. They didn't charge me. I didn't say the gas party, but they thought, you know, something wrong with the engine. They towed the car. The service came out there. We got to the port. We were literally the last people to board this cruise ship, to the point that people were clapping when we ran up. And I thought they was joking. We were last. They were packing up. I will never forget that experience ever. I mean, and it so happened to be, you know, when I proposed to my wife. So that is like a crazy moment. We have a lot more, but that is one that sticks out because it was at the very beginning of us traveling together. It was in 2013. But
I am like, that was such a good story. I'm like, I was hanging on my seat the whole time, like, and what happened? And what happened next?
Yo, more of the story, listen to your wife.
And you know what? And this full circle, we just came full circle from the top of the program to the end, because the top of it was, behind every great man is a fabulous woman. And she was the one who told you, why don't we venture outside of the Caribbean? And she was also the one that told you, that is diesel.
She didn't say, she didn't say diesel. She didn't know diesel, but you're right. She was like, I don't think that's gas. I was like, gasolina, what you talking about? You know what? Even if I didn't want to, I don't know what in the hell, what made me think when the hose, you know, the spout didn't go in. Like right then, I should have keyed in like, this is not gas, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
and now I have a smart card, so it's even funnier. It definitely came back full circle.
You live and you learn, like, and
yeah,
the fact
definitely
that
live and learn
in
moment.
another country, it was the proposal weekend, it was a cruise, it was a overnight stay, it was a lot, but you made it through, and now you're here to tell us the story and to educate us on how we can travel for practically free. So thank you so much, Ronnie, for joining us today, for sharing your knowledge. And again, to the TGIC peeps, make sure you go to roadto100countries.com and purchase the Tricks to Travel bundle today. Don't say I didn't tell you. We're out of here.
Thank you for having me.